if I told you that there is a tiny organ in the center of your brain that ancient sages, mystics, and philosophers have all pointed to, and that modern science quietly confirms is unlike anything else that's in your body? What if I told you that if you ignore this tiny organ inside of your brain, you will live life half asleep? But if you awaken it, you will never see reality the same way ever again. If you've ever felt, even for 1 second, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, then you already feel the pull of the third eye. And today we're going to go straight to source, your pineal gland, the physical doorway to your spiritual spirit. So what is the pineal gland? Let's start on the ground. Biologically, the pineal gland is a tiny pine cone-shaped gland in the middle of your brain. It's part of your endocrine system. It's the main producer of melatonin, which regulates your sleep-wake cycles and circadian rhythms. It sits almost exactly at the center of your brain, between the two hemispheres, in a grove where the two thalamic bodies meet. Through pathways that begin at your eyes, it knows when it's light or dark. In darkness, it secretes melatonin, telling your body it's time to repair, it's time to dream, it's time to reset the system. So even on a purely physical level, your pineal gland is your timekeeper. It's your night guardian. It's your master of sleep, regeneration, and dreaming. But here's where it starts to get crazy. Can everybody just put some third eyes in the chat? The ancient obsession with this tiny gland, long before modern neuroscience, people were so obsessed with this place on your head. Descartes called the pineal the seat of the soul, where the meeting point where immaterial mind and physical body interact. A 2002 review noted, the pineal has been perceived as the location of the soul and the third eye across many cultures and eras for all of time. Ancient texts and esoteric traditions saw it as the gateway of spiritual life, the organ of inner vision, not just a hormone factory. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the third eye, the Ajna chakra, is symbolized at the brow, right there. But its deeper physical correlate is wider linked to the pineal gland. This eye is associated with sight beyond the physical, intuition and inner guidance, insight into truth, the ability to see through illusion. In Hindu symbolism, Shiva's third eye represents a fourth state, beyond walking, dreaming, and deep sleep. It's called pure awareness that can burn away ignorance. In Christianity, Christ's halo has been interpreted by some as a subtle reference to the radiant crown of awakened spiritual consciousness, which is the same territory, right? In Mesoamerican and other ancient American cultures, scholars see third eye symbolism in serpents, masked faces, and forehead emblems, suggesting a pan-cultural recognition of inner sight. But what does this tell us? Collective souls, grand rising. It tells us that it doesn't matter what part of the earth. They could all be on different lands. They could all explain these things using different languages, but they all have the same message. There is a hidden eye inside of you that doesn't just look at the world, it looks into reality. Why this matters if you're just starting. Ooh, this is a good one. If you're a spiritual beginner, let's just try and keep this simple, okay? Your pineal gland is the hardware that supports your third eye, the spiritual sense that lets you feel guidance instead of only confusion, sense truth instead of only logic, recognize synchronicity instead of chalking everything up to being random, touch something divine in meditation, prayer, and dreams. You can believe all the right things in your mind, but if your inner sight is foggy, it feels like praying at a brick wall. When your third eye is asleep, you chase answers outside of yourself. You feel spiritually disconnected. You second guess every intuitive nudge. You can't tell if it's your higher self or if it's your anxiety talking. When your third eye starts to awaken, you feel a quiet knowing underneath all of the noise. Synchronicities just start to stack up. Your dreams become meaningful instead of just chaotic. You feel less lost, even if your outer life is still arranging. This isn't about seeing ghosts or flashy visions. It's about finally having an inner compass. And you all know that they try to calcify our pineal gland. So now let's keep going to the intermediate level. We gave some information for the spiritual beginners. Now this is for the intermediate level, and then we're going to get to the veterans. The pineal gland is one of the most calcification-prone structures in your brain. The pineal tends to accumulate deposits of calcium and fluoride as you age. One study found that fluoride levels in the pineal were comparable 2 or higher than severely fluorized bones, and calcification was common in elderly glands. So calcification is common as you get older. So if it already starts to calcify as you get older, it would seem nefarious if there were other entities trying to force your pineal gland to calcify. Because as the calcification increases, functional pineal tissue declines, which can affect melatonin production, sleep quality, and your overall circadian rhythm. Fluoride is known to accumulate in the pineal gland, potentially interfering with its function. How can you decalcify your pineal gland? There's lots of different ways. 1, just make sure you're not drinking fluoride. 2, constant blue light exposure at night can affect your pineal gland. Chronic sleep deprivation can affect your pineal gland. Overstimulation with caffeine, screens, and stress can affect your pineal gland. Zero time in darkness or silence can also affect your pineal gland. What are all of those things going to do to you? They're going to make you feel physically clogged, chemically confused, and rhythmically disoriented. Spiritually, it's going to feel like your intuition is muted. Your dreams are chaotic or absent. Meditation is foggy or frustrating. You will feel disconnected from anything that's higher up than you, even when you're trying. It's not, when they calcify your pineal gland, bro, it's not like your soul left, but that your receiver has been jammed. Now here's for the advanced information. Y'all ready for this? Who's still up in here? If you're here, please Facebook, smash the like button a bunch of times. Twitch, put in some third eye emoji. YouTube, just light up the chat in any way you feel compelled to. Because your pineal gland is literally a tuner between worlds. If you're seasoned on this path, if you know about your spiritual path and the pineal gland and perception and consciousness, let's talk about metaphysics. Imagine this. Your brain is the receiver. Your pineal gland is the tuner, and it has a fine adjustment dial. Your consciousness is the broadcast or the signal. Theosophical, I can't even say it, theosophical, and mystical writings frame the third eye as the organ of spiritual perception, allowing access to the subtler planes of reality. When the third eye complex is active and coherent, you can drop into altered states like deep meditation, trance, and lucid dreamings a lot easier. You can perceive subtle energies and patterns like auras or vibes immaculately. You get to experience a sense of unity in yourself and in others, in inner and outer, in God and creation. They no longer feel separate, at least strictly separate from you. One author noted that the pineal clearly sits inside the physical brain, yet feels symbolically outside the ordinary mind, making it a paradoxical point between worlds. When this tuner is online, reality stops looking flat. Symbols start carrying messages. Time feels less absolute, and you start to sense the multi-layered nature of this existence, but not as a concept, as a direct experience. This is why third eye activation has always been guarded, and in some eras it's been demonized, because a person with an awakened inner sight is so much harder to control. They see the energetic lie behind the polished words. They feel the misalignment in systems that look legitimate. They recognize the sacred in places that look ordinary. And no matter where you are along your spiritual path, beginner, intermediate, expert, these principles apply to all of us. We need to start honoring darkness and sleep. Your pineal gland secretes melatonin only when you're in darkness, which is syncing your inner clock and your circadian rhythm to this environment so that you can have deep REM sleep, so that your rest actually heals and rejuvenates you. Spiritually, this is when your body repairs, when your psyche integrates, when your soul travels. So practical steps that you can do. Just dim the lights a little bit, 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. Get off the bright screens or use filters at night. Prioritize real sleep over endless scrolling. And you're not being lazy, bro. You're restoring your spiritual hardware that they've been trying to damage and remove for all of time. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that your pineal gland is directly connected to the sun and the sun's light. Morning and daytime natural light helps anchor your circadian rhythm and supports your pineal gland's health. Step outside, bro, early in the day. Let the light hit your eyes. Put your bare feet on the ground whenever you can. This will calm your nervous system and make subtle perception easier. Your third eye opens more when your body feels safe. Now, one thing about us all being human is that there's so much internal noise with external toxins. You don't need to become obsessed with this, but always just try to reference this Drink cleaner water when possible. Consider filtering to reduce fluoride exposure because we know that fluoride affects and is toxic for the pineal gland. Eat more whole foods, less foods that are full of chemicals. Take breaks from constant mental stimulation. You are creating an environment where your pineal gland can breathe. And this one is powerful. Bro, you have to meditate with your third eye. It's very easy. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how to do this, okay? First and foremost, you have to be somewhere where you are in a comfortable position, sitting or laying down. You gently just bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows, just right above it. Imagine just this soft point of light that's right there. With every inhale, imagine breathing into that point. With every exhale, imagine that point glowing slightly brighter. Don't chase the visions, bro. Just stay with the sensation. Because over time, from you just doing that, you'll notice pressure or warmth on your third eye. You'll get to start seeing subtle imagery. There will be a natural silence arising. That's your tuner coming online, bro. Now, a lot of people in this spiritual realm think that your third eye is just for seeing. It's not. Your third eye is also for navigating. Every time you feel a clear no in your body and you honor it, that's your third eye talking to you, bro. Every subtle yes towards something that you aligned with and you followed it, that was your third eye navigating you there. Every time you admit a truth that you've been dodging or running from, your third eye definitely was helping you get there. You strengthen your inner sight, bro. Every time you betray your intuition to please someone else or to avoid discomfort, you teach your system not to trust itself. Self-betrayal fogs the lens. Self-honoring cleans it. Now, what is this really about? At the highest level, the pineal third eye axis is not just another chakra to tick off. It's the interface between the localized identity and your universal nature. When it's asleep, you will live your whole life only trapped in your five senses. You'll mistake your thoughts for ultimate truth. You'll feel separate from others, from God, and from life itself. But when you finally start to awaken and activate this third eye, you will start to sense the one light behind all forms. You'll feel guided in ways that don't make logical sense, but prove themselves over time. You'll begin to trust that there is an intelligence moving through your life, not just chaos. When it's fully awake in moments and even in glimpses, the I you thought you were dissolves into a vast, quiet awareness. Love is no longer just an emotion. It's the fabric of everything that's made. Death loses some of its terror because you've tasted something in you that is not touched by birth or death. This is not fantasy, bro. It's why every serious mystic in every tradition has tried clumsily to describe the third eye is a key part of how to know how your human system accesses the divine state. And here's your final reminder. You are not a mistake wandering an accidental universe. You are a spiritual being wearing a nervous system, a brain, and yes, a tiny pine cone-shaped gland in the dark center of your skull. Designed to be a window where light from the outer world via your eyes shapes your inner rhythms. A light from the inner world, your soul or source, can shape how you see the outer world. So today, whether you're just starting or you've been on this path for many lifetimes, treat your sleep like a ceremony. Treat your intuition like a sacred message. Treat your third eye like an altar. Keep it clean, keep it honored, and keep using it. Because once you really start seeing life from here, from the pineal gland, from the third eye, from your soul, you'll never again believe that you are just a human, stumbling through like some meaningless world. You'll finally start to remember that you are consciousness itself, looking through a body with an extra eye waiting to open. I love you.